from that first. It was from that first crisis.
Know-it-all, Mr. Know-it-all.
I know, and I know who I am. What do you mean?
Know-it-all.
What's up, my know-it-alls? That's right. It's that time again. It's time for Lower Decks. It's Star Trek Lower Decks. And we're looking here at, see, and what's funny is I actually had it right here. There we go. Season 3, Episode 8, Crisis Point 2. It's not Crisis Point 1.
No. Crisis Point 2, Paradox.
Paradoxus.
Oxus.
Man, it's, okay, so this was a sequel to the Season 1 episode, Episode 9. Season 1, Episode 9, which was actually Crisis Point Vindictus, I think? Wasn't that what it was called?
Just Crisis Point.
No, but I mean the movies. Remember her weird movie that she was, what was the, anyway, what was the name of the movie? Because this one was, I think.
Oh, I got nothing.
Yeah, it's all
we
good.
I was going to say something. We should have researched it more before recording.
Well, the thing is, we've watched seasons 1 and 2, but we watched them like in passing. Like we didn't watch them as hardcore as we're watching them now, like actually with a dedicated eye to watching them and knowing what we're watching. There was a lot of watching in there. Anyways, all right, in this episode, we start out with a really exciting moment. We get to see the Cerritos is being under attack by Romulans, a very interesting triplet Romulans. Pair may not be the right terminology or phrasing for this.
Are Romulans supposed to be only girls?
No, but the fact is the Romulans aren't supposed to be dressing up like Klingons either, with holes in the front of their outfits showing their boobs.
Fair enough.
However, these do because they're totally a play on Lursa and Bator. Anyway, for those of you playing at home. But if you remember back in Season 1, there was an episode 9 was the first crisis point where Marion was trying to work out some things, and she decided she wanted to kill the crew, so she became a villain in a movie to do that. And so now this is the sequel, and Boimler is playing Captain Dagger aboard the Wayfarer, which is a Sovereign-class starship. Very, very cool, suffice to say, to see at least some sort of a Sovereign class in the series. Very nice. It's this entire thing where they are they're on the holodeck, and you find out they have to, as they're going through this opening sequence, they pause. He's like, all right, I'll play the opening title sequence, whatever, and he goes because he gets a call from outside the holodeck. So while he's gone, we watch the sequence, and they're totally biting on all the Star Trek movies. It's really fun, especially Star Trek 2. And so then he comes back, and he's a little different. We're not sure what's up, a little more on point. And so as the story progresses, there's this point where he's supposed to like give a rousing speech and really convince this one alien thing about something going on. And even Mariner's like setting it up, and sure enough, he decides to beat the living tar out of this person. And she's like, oh, okay, we're doing it Kirk style. Got it. And so then you end up with as they're going, they arrive at this alien place to sort of find out that the Romulans, let me stop. I'm going to have to tell you now the plot of this stupid movie. So, apparently, these Romulans, who may or may not be based on Lursa and Bator, and they have
fake
3...
Romulans.
Oh, they're totally fake Romulans. And they are looking for the Chronogami. The Chronogami is apparently a...
time-traveling...
crystal MacGuffin.
Yeah.
And so they steal it. The group manages to get their own mini chronogami thing that has very minor chronogami type features in order to help pursue this thing. So as they're as they're chasing these Romulans, they happen to come to this one. It's like a I don't know, a town, I guess you could say, or the sort of a market. And the Romulans are there. And while they're there, Boimler notices this religious zealot in the background.
Kidia.
There's this. Yeah, it's funny. There's a callback to Manuki and a couple other things, and but ultimately, yeah, Kidia is the how he's got this. It's kind of their version of V'ger, for those of you who know and the motion picture. Anyways, and so right as that's about to happen, the Romulans come shooting out of the side thing, and they're going, and now there's a chase happening.
But Boimler doesn't care.
He doesn't care, and Mariner's like, but the things, what is going on? And so he gives command of the mission to Tendi, which she's super excited and stoked about. And so then you get to the him and so Boimler's like, well, no, I want to follow this thing. I want to find out about Kidia. And so they find out as they're waiting He's like, no, those chases are never that fun anyway. It's an awesome
fun.
chase.
Yeah.
And you get to see this, and it's all super cinematic because they're leaning heavy into the movie thing. And so there's like this one point where Tendi uses her grav bike and throws it at the enemy little cruise ship thingy, and like jumps over this giant explosion in like slow-mo. Yeah, it's great. And then so Boimler and Mariner get into it, and they have a bit of an argument, and she storms out, and there's some terse words said, especially because when she calls out the fact that the holodeck is like, dude's like, I'll tell you right now about Kidia. I'm going to tell you the whole story right this moment, this story right here. She's like, he's literally stalling while the holodeck writes a backstory for him really quickly. It's an adaptive program. And so finally he shows his whole body. Is these giant wrinkles and flaps, and there's a map across. She's like, no, I am not doing flappy map, whatever. Anyways, so he ends up going, so she ends up deciding to leave, and he storms off. This is when she goes and she checks in with Ransom, and you find her doing good, and Ransom lets her know, apparently William, his transporter clone, Boimler's transporter clone from the Titan, died. Freak accident.
It was a gas leak.
Which sounds like
so we thought. But we find that out later.
Really anticlimactic.
Dun, dun, dun.
Totally. And so now with a little more context, she realizes that he's looking for meaning. She kind of says to herself, I was looking for meaning when I did mine, fine. And so she goes back. I guess within minutes of her leaving, the whole program went downhill for him. And so he's in jail. She's in jail also. He has to face like a mutiny and everything else. So finally, she helps him break out of there, and they're on their way, and they're going to continue this mission. She's going to help him see where it all ends up going. So,
but first, we flash back to Tendi and oh my gosh, I'm gonna call him Boimler, Rutherford, and they're in Australia in the year 2300 and some odd.
That's right.
And basically, they're like there because
there's, I guess, in the future of Starfleet, there's like this weird aquatic ambassador thing.
Because some alien octopus thing solved something.
Yeah.
Anyways, so basically we're there, and
awesome.
Did you already talk about how he doesn't care?
Who? No.
Okay, so basically, we're there, and then everyone's there, and there's a huge octopus, and apparently he's like really important, and he did something super cool. Anyways, basically Tendi's giving her little speech because she's captain. And then so Rutherford is like eating his sandwich, and just, why are you eating a sandwich during a mission? Not my business, but like it's okay because it's in a holodeck. Not the point. So basically it was like, are you really eating right now? And he goes, yeah, I stepped out to get some food after the whole color thingy. It makes me queasy. And then so he was like, you want to buy it? Or like something along the lines of that.
Yeah, really irreverent.
And then anyways, so he does that, and then she's like, do you just not care? And then he was like, yeah, it's a
like
simulation.
A game. Yeah, it's whatever.
And then he's like eating his chips and whatever.
Because you gotta have chips with a sandwich.
Of course.
And so then she's more and more this becomes her through line. She's getting more and more frustrated as these things are coming up. So Boimler and Mariner end up taking back the ship. They end up going to find Kidia, and while they're going to find Kidia, you also see that the others are still tracking through the time as these Romulans with the chrono trigger. It's a video game. With the chronogami are hopping through. They're trying to take Starfleet apart with time travel. And then so then you get to that part where they arrive at what should be the climax to Boimler's little spiritual story. And it ends up being this godlike creature that is essentially throwing out these horrible motivational...
Oh my gosh!
What is the meaning of life?
This has nothing to do with the motivational rock man, but basically there was this goat type thing, and his name was Knick-Knack. He was my favorite person.
Oh my god, Knick-Knack is awesome.
Love Knick-Knack. He's just like a goat, and he's just like, I'm Knick-Knack.
But then later on, when there's a big giant fight, you find out he can wear out. It become not werewolf, but he just becomes giant and muscular, and you're like, oh well, who knew this was under all that robe.
Knick-knack.
Totally.
Sorry, continue about the big giant rock man.
Yeah, so Boimler's like getting more and more frustrated because he's like, where's my meaning? Where's my deeper meaning? And he like starts punching this thing and going into it. And then he has a vision of Captain Sulu. Voiced by George Takei. Again, not the crossover we're waiting for, but still pretty cool. And then he wakes up in sickbay, and you find out that it was all a dream after all. Meanwhile, Tendi, which actually, they both meet up there. Let me back up for a second to give you Tendi. So at some point in their side quest, Tendi's really gets mad and lashes out at Rutherford and is like, what are you doing? Why blah, blah, this and that? And she's like, would this how you would care if it was me? Because the cat doctor dies in the story.
Oh, yeah.
And so Tendi takes it so hard. And he's just like, oh, man, it's crazy. Does it smell like, whatever, like roast Romulan? And because she got phasered and vaporized. And so she's like, yeah, she wants to. Apparently she has aspirations to become a captain.
Which is crazy, but should be great.
She would totally be great. No, totally. She would totally be great. And so, yeah, so that's there. So she's kind of on her personal journey. And to her, the game is awesome because she got to play captain. She got to she loved their adventure they were on. And when they wake up, you find out Boimler took some things away from his adventure too. So overall, everybody listened, and we find out, you know what? There's no need for cliffhangers and all that other stuff. And right before the credits start,
we have a cliffhanger.
Dun, dun, dun. You see dude wake up. William is woken up.
William Boimler woke up in his little black casket and was like, some lady is like, they think you're dead. And then, like, she gives him, like, a cool little badge. It was, like, a black little badge. Mm-hmm. It's, like, instead of Dark Avengers, it's, like, Dark Star Trek. And so it gives him his little bag and then badge. And it was like, well, now you got to start on your new mission. And didn't he say something?
He's now part of Section 31.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun. That's going to go on the on counter.
Totally. But yeah, man, it was. I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed it a lot. What did you think of the episode?
Yeah, it was cool.
Right on.
I prefer the first one because sequels are not already, but they're usually worse.
Right on. Yeah, so there you go. Now you know. If knowing is half the battle, you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself.
Yeah.
Know-it-all index for this episode for me. This was an okay episode. Yeah, I would give it an 8.
Word. I had to give it.
Be honest.
I'd give it. Actually no. I'd give it an 8. I'd also give it an 8. I say that because everyone found their place. Not everyone found their place.
I gotcha.
But like everyone like had something going on. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, there's this one scene that actually like sold me on everything. It's when Mariner is in the office with I forgot his name.
Ransom.
Chad. And so she's in the office with them, and he goes, "Yeah, no, I don't know what I would do without my friends." I was like, "Whaleman."
That's right, they show the picture.
And it's just the way he says "Whaleman," and then he was like, "Friends." He just says it so good. Sorry, but anyways, I definitely give it an A because they all kind of went through something. Boimler, he's dealing with his death of his twin. That's not his twin. Tendi feels like she's not being taken seriously. Rutherford just doesn't care. And then what's her face? Mariner. It's Mariner.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's it.
I mean, it's not. She had something going on, but it's not that important.
Right on, man. Well, hey, I hope you liked the episode. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and kind of interchange with you. Before we cut out, though, I want to make sure I take an opportunity to thank the Star Dispatch. They're at the Star Dispatch on Twitter. Make sure you take a look at them. They do an audio podcast, Star Trek based, for all the fans and whatnot, and they shouted us out. And it's a lot of fun to hear, and so means the world to us that people enjoy what we do. You have no idea what it takes to get her up and get her going this early in the morning.
Yeah, that was so cool. I was like, someone actually like saw this? Like, oh, word. Like,
yeah, so it was fun. Don't worry though, I'll show you exactly what it takes to wake her up right here. That's what I just realized. You're Rutherford. Oh my God, literally, your thing is you're not taking this seriously today. To be fair, I'm Tendi in this scenario because I'm taking it too seriously. No, but yeah, man, that was so much fun. I really appreciate you guys. Don't forget, share, like, please. It helps the channel grow because we would really love to be able to do this more often and pretty regularly, which means I just need to grow the channel a little bit. Well, only about 17% of the people who watch actually are subscribed. So if you subscribe, we'd love to make you part of the Know-It-All Nation. So here aboard the USS Know-It-All, from Captain Know-It-All and Ensign Know-It-All.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Did you just make that up?
Yep.
I was about to say, I was like, that's gonna stick now. That was great. Never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all.
There you go. See you guys next week. Bye.